G'day, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. Welcome back to another episode of Spectate the Player, where as a Chapter 1 Season 1 veteran, I'm going to be bringing you guys the latest and greatest tips, tricks, strategies, and more to winning not only more games, more crowns in Fortnite, Chapter 7. So guys, as always, if you are keen to see if this crown player up ahead here will be able to send it back for the back-to-back crown wins, make sure you guys do. Hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button. Alright, of course, we will try to fake out the leaving here. We do have Chloe Main as a very first spectator for the day, or they do have, of course, the crown win here with the double Deadeye assault rifle. Two really brilliant weapons here, guys. Right, one of the best sort of assault rifles you can find this season, of course. Chloe sending back all the candy there with the rifle onto the lobby. Alright, we are landing here over at Sus Studios as well, which is quite nice to see. A somewhat more central location. It will be one of the sort of 3 or 4 there. Of course, a couple more bots. Potentially 3 players here for Chloe to go up against. The Kill Bill there as well. Jumping up and over there with the Shockwave. Right now, they do have 4 shockwaves themselves here, which isn't going to be the worst thing. However, the jump shot outside of the doorway there by Chloe. Well played. Of course, getting shot up by the Kill Bill now. The weapon switch to the sniper. No. Getting Don Bastianio, 19. Back on down to the lobby. Well played to Chloe there. Right, already with 4 kills to the name so far. Can they send it back, guys? You know what 2 buttons to press. Especially so. Alright, we do have the twin hammer shotguns, alright, making a solid appearance in the hotbar there. Right, definitely, again, one of the best shotguns as well we've got in the game. It will be this season's auto shotty, or at least whatever it is close to. And that is going to be, I feel like, one of the best things that I'll be looking for. You know, at the start of the game is essentially the twin hammer as well as the Deadeye. Alright, so that is where I sort of sit with it. I want to have 2 weapons. I want to have my long range. You want to have your close range. Alright, then of course your ammo and shields. Preferably, I do like the big boys over the Chug Jug. Primarily because the big boys will be able to be used a lot quicker than the Chug Jug. So, definitely quite helpful. However, do bear in mind, if you guys are trying to go for the quickest heals, these small potions will be your best bet there. So, Chloe now going for the reload, of course, making their way up this hill here. We will have the sniper rifle in hand, of course, waiting. They do line it up. The 84 for the headshot. 789 will be going down there. Well played to Chloe. All right, now, of course, we'll be rotating around here to the rock for cover. A building to the left. Going for the high ground is a wise choice by Chloe. Definitely one of the best things you guys can do in any stage of the game is by going for the high ground. It's by trying to secure that positional advantage, right? And you're trying to keep it simple, and getting height, getting cover is great, but to get both of them at the same time, absolutely critical, right? This is key. Of course, using the right shoulder peek there to their advantage, or at least the right shoulder viewing angle there. Right, that Fortnite is definitely known for, as well as other first-person shooter games out there, but especially Fortnite in this case. Of course, some slurp barrels to the side. 6 kills already to the name. Right, so far, I would say this is a fairly decent player. I like their awareness, right, their situational awareness, their map awareness. They are checking in the corner of their vision quite a lot. So you'll see at times here, Chloe is looking straight ahead, but there will be other times where you can notice the way that she is running. She's keeping these windows to the left and to the right sides, alright, which means she can actually see outside there in these sort of peripheral areas, and that is definitely going to play a solid part, right, in their general situational awareness, guys. So, of course, running on down this hill here, they do hear the shots, and if you guys want to be able to see these shots a little bit better, one of the best things you guys can do is turn on the sound, or the visual audio signals there in your settings, which are definitely going to help you see, I believe, up to 200 to 250 meters away, somewhere in that ballpark. Of course, raining fire from above here. Chloe setting the back for the 61 now. They're white and they're low. The shockwave in hand. They need to reload the assault rifle, but the mini, yes, the mini, the SMG is going to come in clutch there. Well played. Of course, Wrath of Night there, not really managing to get out of there just in time. Right, he will be going back. Well played to him, though. If you guys have enjoyed, of course, Chloe's gameplay so far, make sure you guys do hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button. Alright, use that creator code. Surely it's butter the next time in the item shop. If you guys are looking to buy a skin as well in the near time future, that would be really appreciated. Alright, of course, Chloe here. Going a little bit southward, southwestward, towards South Studios. Again, really nice place to land here. Definitely, I wouldn't say underrated. I feel like it's well rated, but it is going to be a place where you're going to find a sizable amount of loot. Not a crazy amount of heals, but definitely some there. Great for solos, duos that can get a little bit hairy, so bear that in mind. Chloe now checking down south. Of course, we do have a nice little wall here. This sort of wall is going to be great, guys, to peek up across there. You won't be giving away your position in terms of your head, right? No one will be able to shoot you, but you can see over. So looking for those types of obstacles, I guess primarily can also be quite helpful. And to also not look at them as obstacles as well will be quite helpful, right? Yes, you can jump over them. Yes, they can get in your way, but you can also use them to your advantage. So try to remember that. Try to get in that mindset that, hey, not everything can just be in your way as a negative. You can also use these things as a positive. So definitely a lot of wiggle room there. All right, for Chloe's main. Now, I do remember seeing this name back a while ago. I dare say that we have spectated them once upon a time, or at least I've seen them once upon a time, potentially killing me. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. If I've seen a name, it's usually on the kill cam there. So, of course, Chloe now, she is checking her 6. She's very, very adamant that there is someone back there, or at least trying to make sure, okay, are there anyone rotating in? And if so, how can she best sort of take advantage of that? Now, we do have a lot of high ground up here with this ridgeway and this cliff. This is where especially people who are trying to camp players coming on in to the zone, you know, camping up on a high ground up here to really take advantage of that positional, right? That's really going to come in quite clutch, really. So Chloe, of course, keeping an eye on that before was good to see. Right, we now will have the Rift Anomaly. All right, guys, of course, we will actually have the zone on the far side here, so it will move a little bit slower. But what we're trying to do here for Chloe, or at least if I was in their position, would definitely be to rotate for maybe some of these airdrops. I would also be wanting to rotate through high ground, so you guys can kind of see some cliffs here and here and here. So that would be my rotation path. Path would be cliff to cliff to cliff, maybe to cliff, checking my 6 out this way, and then to cliff, cliff, or building. And that's sort of like what I would want to be doing, right, in an ideal game. Now, of course, not every time, guys, will you be able to have that ideal game. You're not going to 100% of the time be able to do things 100% according to plan, right? Things are always going to come up. They're always going to change. But you need to be sort of ready and willing to adjust to that. You know, to be able to compensate for that change is going to be quite key. And it's something that can take a little bit of practice, but all you really need to do is ensure that you've got a base game plan, right? So try to figure out, okay, how do I most optimally want to rotate between POI to POI? How do I want to most optimally rotate after getting a kill? You know, how do I want to most optimally rotate to try to get a kill? You know, establish these sort of ground rules around these sorts of just base sort of a general framework, right, that you would ideally like to follow in a perfect world scenario. And if you can't, that's okay. But so long as you do have that base framework sort of cemented there and understood, you should be able to really, 9 times out of 10 anyway, start to get into the groove of it, start to get into this sort of the way of things, right? And it'll start to come more naturally to you until the point where you'll notice you're actually getting those ideal games, those ideal rotations a lot more consistently, right? A lot more effectively. They're going to come a lot more naturally, right? So that is something as well, guys, you want to be trying to do. Establish your base frameworks for rotations. Right, now additionally, guys, you're also going to be wanting to do the same thing for how you handle a fight. It's basically every sort of facet there or style of the game or area of the game that you're in, whether it be the front end of the game or at the middle, or maybe you're in the long game, right? You've definitely reached the end there, the top 10 scenario, the top 5, if you will. All right, having a different sort of base framework for each stage of the game is probably a better way to put it, is going to be also quite key. So sometimes you'll have different players who are quite aggressive early game, but then they start to sort of get a little bit more cautious mid-game and then go aggressive again late game. Now, some will obviously switch that up. They'll go a little bit different. And I think trying to understand, what play style works best for you is definitely something that is very, very helpful. But at the same time, being very readily able to switch up between play styles at all different types of the game is going to be very, very key. Now, we can hear someone outside the bush here of Chloe Main. They are trying to get an eye on them. You can see they're trying to be very, very quiet. Of course, waiting for those footsteps as well. Visual audio signals, they will appear in the center of your screen like this, sort of signaling where footsteps or shots are coming from. So I dare say that is what Chloe Main is doing right now, looking at the ground, because when she's face down like this, whichever direction those footsteps are in is the direction that they're in. All right, so if you have those enabled, look at the ground. All right, it's going to be the best way to get the most accurate location there of the players around you. Now, we do have a car approaching right over the hills there. Of course, this will be a POI only just really uncovered today. Humble Hills. All right, a decent sort of zone here. We've got Bumpy Bay to the left. We've got the Inner Loop Labs right to the right. Right, a lot of decent sort of high ground cliffs here, here and here and here. Some great places to really just camp the middle of the map. And definitely some decent rotation options as well here for Chloe, of course. They will be quite slow, or at least quite rat-like, so we might actually go and try and have a look at someone else. It depends. They might want to get a move on here, though. We do have, of course, the hot air balloon. I might just go and have a bit of a look. We do have TP Wolf 4720 here, right, in the car, in the Cybertruck. All right, they are a little bit closer to zone, which is great. You want to be able to maximize your situation, your situational positioning here, right? And one of the best ways to do that is to grab zone, is to make sure that one, you're on top of your rotation, like you guys are quick to it, that you're not actually slow to rotate, that you are sort of on the money there, that your finger is on the pulse. And then additionally too, all right, you want to just be getting that high ground, getting that cover, getting that situational positioning, right? That advantage right there. Of course, he does have the legendary for the sniper rifle, as well as 2 mythics, which is definitely a beautiful sight to see, right? These mythics are fantastic. These are my 2 favorite guns for this season. Of course, here we do have it, the close range. All right, with the Vengeful there. Oh yes, beautiful there. Well played to TP Wolf. All right, going for the minis now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I feel like keeping calm under pressure, right? That is what TP Wolf did. They kept calm, they kept cool, they kept collected. Yes, some people will like to do slides. Some people like to do slides and jumps in these close quarter fights. Some people also recommend, especially in the comment section, I've heard, Butter, just do slides. Don't just jump around. It's very easy to sort of predict the jumping movement. So to try out slides as well, try out different tactics, different strategies, see what works well for you, and then try to really double down on that and practice that. Practice that kick 1,000 times, become the man they all dread to face. Of course, is that Chloe over there that TP Wolf is firing at? I feel like we're about to find out very soon anyway. Of course, going for the reload here, we might actually go and switch back and have a look at Chloe, and we'll see what they're up to at least. It is them. All right, so they are on the outskirts of zone. They've got very sort of minimal loot here. Right, they do have the 7 kills, but they've only got the green items. Right, going up against, of course, a player like TP Wolf, who has those mythics, right, who has the legendary. They've got the rotation of the wingsuit. Right, the Chug Jug is full, and it's definitely quite sizable. But will it be enough to really send this player home to the top 3, let alone the top 1 position? He's going for the cover behind this rock. Again, making himself a clear home in the zone here. And the zone has still got 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. So, definitely quite interesting. A lot of potential here for TP Wolf to play off. Right, he has that wingsuit which he can use to rotate up higher behind the cliff here. He looks to be wanting to rotate a bit over, however. He wants to get that high ground up here on that mountain, which is just beautiful to see. You really want to be doing this right, guys. And additionally, you want to be hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. Of course, the close range here, Chloe going down to TP Wolf. He picks up the crown, guys. He dropped the gun as well to pick up that crown. Quick tip, hold out your pickaxe. You'll be able to pick up the crowns without dropping any items. You will only pick up crowns, ammunition, items with durability that you already have. Alright, so use the pickaxe when you're picking up these crowns. Of course, the close range here, it's the drift, but they are going to go down. Godly Wolf there. Well played. Alright, he's got the chug jug. He wants those big boys. You can see it in his eyes. But right now, you're at the top 2. So guys, make sure you guys do help us reach that goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of next year. And we'll see if TP Wolf will be able to send it back. Alright, he does spot them over to the distance. I don't think he does, actually. They're over this way, but I feel like, no, he did miss them. I believe they're in the bush right now, all the way over there. You guys might want to rewind the video in 0.25 speed. Let me know if you saw them. Right, he is trying to be mindful of that bush. I feel like he saw him poke his feet out for just a moment there. There it is. All right, the position has been given away by that sniper glint. All right, he's got a sniper himself, and it is a legendary. And he knows how high to aim that thing. You know this is not his first time, that is for sure. All right, it is the sniper v sniper playoff here, guys. TP Wolf, all right, 40, 70, 20 here. All right, versus Rintillating, all right, with the Spider Venom skin here. Of course, going for the cheeky heal off. All right, he does have the chug. He's got the twin hammer. All right, and now what is that? Is that the player there? It's going to be, okay, the Simpsons character. Right, here he comes. The close range for the double. There he goes down, of course, the self-revive. And the disrespect to send it home. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy that episode, make sure you hit that like button. You hit that subscribe button. And as always, take care. Garnier.